Great. Yeah, so I just saw a couple of people in chat posted that they were not able to join and they were asking about recording the meeting. So I think that might be a good strategy going on forward, just to have the recap of our meetings. Moreover, that I was, well, we're going to discuss today like our agenda for the fall semester. So I thought that might be good to have keep it as a reference, our discussion. And Masha, what is that video that you shared? Is it something relevant?
Oh, it's just about the prisoners of war and the interviews that they're doing when they're treating them. And it's like, but also, yeah, because we treat them like humans because we're not imperialist peace anyway. But yeah, if you guys want to give it a watch, I'm a big fan of Butusel Plus, so.
Yeah, definitely. That would be great. So I think that we can start like in a minute or so, in less than that. I'll start sharing my screen right now, so to make it a little bit more official. Don't expect too much, please.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just trying to.
While you setting that up, I was just curious. We probably should create a channel like on Telegram. You know, like we have a general chat, we have one for webpage, and we also should do one for like memes and other things. Just sometimes people want to share something that is not really like productive or constructive, but important to share, like the video that Masha just shared. And we should be able to, you know, something like not formal of a kind. And just post that chat into our general chat. It's like, hey guys, if anyone want like chat about something off topic, here you go.
That's actually a very good question, Dan, that you're raising here. And if you don't mind, can we kind of like have this discussion in the second part of our meeting? Because I talked to a couple of people, and Masha is here to talk, to guide us about, to share basically about her activities, her club activities during the fall. And I forgot to mention here, so that today we are going to be discussing the in fall, something like that. Yeah.
It is an interesting document that you're sharing. It's the price of advertising signals of product quality.
Oh, great. It's not supposed to be that, but I'm fine. You seeing that?
We're trying to figure out.
Yeah. It was good catch. Anyhow, so I'm going to. Can you see now?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's make it super official here. So welcome everyone to the USUA/SUSTA GBM, first in the fall semester 2022, and I'm very happy to see you back here. And the main purpose of today's meeting is to reconnect, to touch base with everyone who is back on campus, who is running their student organizations, and to talk about what do we do in general? Where do we start our activity? How do we promote? And how do we actually engage people in our activity, whatever we do on campuses? So today, also not without a recognition of the date, September 11, I thought that we might maybe start our meeting just with the honorable gesture to commemorate those who have fallen under the attacks of September 11, and also those who have fallen from the unprovoked aggression from the Russian Federation in Ukraine. So let's do it now. Okay, so let's resume. So you can see for yourself our plan for today's meeting, and without further ado, I invite our first prepared speaker, Masha Polipan, to jump in and talk about her club activities. Masha, if you need to share, I enable the function of sharing, so you can go ahead.
Sick. Okay, so we haven't met yet for the semester. Our president dropped out last minute because she's starting her master's program. It's like a combined for whatever. So I was like, okay, I guess it's me now. But I guess, you know, a lot of the issues that we were seeing is just engagement is difficult, keeping people interested is difficult. And even like just if members are Ukrainian and have a personal connection, it's still difficult to keep people engaged because we have jobs and lives and stuff like that. And I can understand why people might struggle with why like we need to keep doing this kind of stuff. I don't know, for me it seems pretty obvious, but I think a lot of it is just combining not just the fundraising and the grief and the horrors, but also making sure that you're doing fun stuff as well. So I think you have to stop sharing, Lydia, so I can share my slides. Okay, so
Sure.
this is just, I'll let you guys know how it goes tomorrow because I don't know yet because we haven't, you guys can see?
Masha, yes, we can see. Before you start, yeah, you're going to present what school and what school you're representing and what is the name of your club.
Oh, sure, yeah. I'm just I'm over at Loyola Chicago. I'm a poli-sci major, Midwest, born and raised, sort of. Parents came here in the 90s, late 90s, so you know, it's crazy out here. But yeah, we have a not insignificant population of Ukrainian students, but in terms of like active members, we actually see a lot of participation just from like we got a couple ROTC kids. We got a couple of people who just care about social justice and they care about anti-imperialism and fundraising and stuff like that. So at this point, most universities have probably seen their organizational affairs come and go, but we did get like a shit ton of signups. So I'm curious to see what turnout is going to look like tomorrow. I assume it's not going to be that good, but it was still nice to get all those emails. So basically, because again, like trying to cater to an audience that isn't just Ukrainian and obviously already knows or has a good understanding of what was going on, me and my vice president Danya decided to make this slideshow that was basically like, oh, like this is what we're gonna do today, like Russia is evil, Maidan was good and we should keep doing that. This is one of the organizations that we fundraise for, Ukraine Trust Change. So the money we got last year, we used to buy them broniki. I don't know how to say it in English. Bulletproof vests. So we got them bulletproof vests, whatever. So I just want to be like, oh, like this is what we did last year, whatever, bake sale, like celebrating, because a lot of the people from the club are coming back and just acknowledging like whatever efforts have been done on your campus before that. Then Danya and I, whatever, introduce ourselves. And me and Danya sat down. So I would recommend like finding one person in your club who is as anal about doing things as you are and sitting down with them and like developing a one-to-one like second-hand man relationship and just being like, here is everything we're going to do this semester from this week to finals. Because obviously like last semester, no one was expecting us to have our shit together because it was scary and terrifying and developing every day. And now we have like a little bit more continuity. So we came up basically first with Dean Zashitnika. I think that is a huge opportunity to just like, even if it's just like, okay, like everyone wear blue and yellow today and do that around campus. It's a good start with solidarity. At Loyola, it's a big thing for clubs to do tabling. I don't know how this works on other campuses, but basically there's just like tables and you sign up to use one for like 3 or 4 hours at a time. And you sit there and you're like, this is my club, give us money or buy our pins or something. And that was a way that we got like pretty, like I would say we raised 40 to 50 bucks a week just by sitting in our student commons and being like, we're a Ukrainian club. Oh, let's have families there. Give us money. So this semester we want to be a little bit more engaging because again, like if somebody's sitting at a table and they have the Ukrainian resting bitch face, it's not exactly appealing to Americans. So I'm trying to think of ways, like, I don't know if we could do like, oh, like you know, like, how Ukrainian are you? And then people can like count up their total and maybe we like give them a prize. I don't know. But something like that. Danya used to be part of our dance troupe over in Ukrainian Village. So she was really interested in doing like a dance night where everybody learned like a couple of dance moves. It was fun, whatever. So that balance again of like, we need a fundraise for the war. And also, how can we foster community spaces for everyone? Cooking together, using like the university theater, if you guys have a space like that to watch something, whether or not it's a documentary or just like Ukrainian creative films, preferably post-Soviet, but again, like my parent, like I grew up watching Soviet movies, so I don't know, we'll see. And then this is like specific to big metro areas with a Ukrainian village, but we have a lot of cool museums and churches and shit that love to have people like visit them because it's just an underrated neighborhood in Chicago and it's considered like the place where Ukrainians live. It's not even true. All the Ukrainians are now over in Schiller Park because it's a lot cheaper there. And Ukrainian Village is more of like this national heritage kind of thing. But we decided to organize a field trip towards the end of the semester and just like, again, like something fun to combine the cultural education with the like everything is terrible and we need a space to get these emotions out. And then also like just taking club input because I expect there to be at least some new people. And yeah, really I think it's important to take into account like the capacity you have because we're all stressed out. We all have our own like connection and issues to the war usually, especially if like you're Ukrainians in leadership. And just like realistically planning out your club semester. If we do what we did with the vigil last year and like USUA or SUSTA or whatever we're calling it comes up with an event that we all do together on the same date. I thought that was awesome. Like it felt super good for that to be like such a national effort. And I think that could be added into like this schedule pretty easily. But yeah, my suggestion is just know what you want to do and set the dates for it like now while we're still in the early stage of the semester so that people can plan their schedules around it. Because I think the biggest issue last semester was just like, we would be like, okay, we're doing this tomorrow. Like we're packing humanitarian aid at the warehouse tomorrow. Who's free? One person would be like, I'm free. It was usually me. So I just recommend planning things ahead of time and trying to combine fun things with serious things to keep people engaged. And like, I think it's valid to want it to be a space that's mostly comprised of Ukrainians and Eastern Europeans if you have enough people on your campus to sustain it. At Loyola, we just like, at this point, it's like the only people that I'm really going to be like, why are you here? Is like Russians who are not like aggressively pro-Ukraine. And I would be shocked if anybody showed up, right? Of that kind of nature. So because we have a lot of Kyrgyz people at Loyola, we have a lot of Uzbek people at Loyola who have a lot of interest in participating in this kind of stuff from the Central Asian perspective. So yeah, that's really it. I recommend just telling your club like just making a decision, be like, this is what's happening. If anybody has any qualms, let me know. If not, though, like, this is what we're planning around just to kind of take the load of like every 2 weeks, you're like, we should do something and not having to deal with that as it comes, but just having it planned out. But yeah, and like, assume people are going to be interested and just act like this is the most important cause in the world because it is. But just if you put that energy out, people are going to respond to it. And that's what I've noticed too, because if I mention it in my classes, people are like, oh, wow, like, I didn't know we had a Ukrainian club. Like, yeah, I'd love to participate. And then whether or not they do, besides the point. If they show up, great. If they don't, at least they know about it. Yeah, that's about it. But that's kind of what we came up with, looking at like, I don't want to call it failures because everyone was stressed out and it was just hard to like put anything together last semester because it was so fresh and so it still feels fresh and new, but at least like we can plan ahead a little bit through finals. And then second semester I'm graduating, so but I would like presumably the same thing, like over winter break, plan with your club and then get that done. But yeah, those are my ideas. Sorry, that was a lot. If you have any questions, let me know.
Great, thanks, Masha. Does anyone have any questions to Masha? Okay, so yeah, go ahead.
I ask in the chat. Masha's answering, but I think it has direct question. So for the fundraising that you had with your club, just if you can speak to the broader group, were you raising for specific mission that you have with your club? Were you raising for another mission that any NGO had in your area? or like what was the general direction of that funds, or those funds that you were raising?
Yeah, so Ukraine Trust Chain, two of our professors who are Ukrainian, they like know the people who are doing the delivery and the humanitarian aid drive. So it was like very easy, direct transaction, no bureaucratic bullshit in between. We also sent a lot of money to Umana because they have a super active Illinois chapter. There's like 4 doctors. They sent like, I don't know, a ridiculous number of pallets in the very like first months of the war. So it's hard because even I don't know at this point who is still like doing donation drives. It seems like the preference is just for fundraising. I know in the chat, the guy from MIT, I forget his name, but he was like, oh, like we started an NGO, it's called Media, like we do these
Oh, yeah,
things.
Sasha Horok.
Yeah,
Sasha
Sasha,
Horok.
yeah. So yeah, mostly just Oman and Ukraine Trust Chain, but I'm hoping to find more like direct on the also like it's weird with Loyola because they have rules about like you can't fundraise for governments directly, but we didn't put any of our funds in the Loyola account. It was just all in my bank account and then I sent it. So Zisu. But just be careful with like how much you tell your school about where the money is going because they technically can come after you. And no, but then you're good because I so many Russisms in my Ukrainian, it's not even funny, like just the for real. And I've been this whole summer is just me in Ukrainian and not using the wrong transliterations and everything. But so I appreciate it, no, because I want to keep it, you know. Yeah, but basically like my preference is for smaller organizations that I know it's legit, and the army. But then you have to be careful with like, don't tell your school that you're giving it to the army because they get kind of antsy about that.
Got it.
Do you tell people what are the money for?
Yeah, we did. I think that's like if we do decide to send directly to ZSU, we're gonna have to like it's gonna have to be like on the DL, like if you specifically want to earmark your contribution to go to the army, let us know. But otherwise we try to be like, these are the like we did I think I threw them out, but give me a sec. We made these explainer sheets for Umana. And it was basically like we printed them out, we put them on the table. We were like, here's what this is, here's where your money's going. Nobody gave a shit. Like truly nobody cared, but we had the information there for people to look at. And I think it made us seem a lot more legitimate. So I would recommend doing this. I can definitely send this by because like I have the like documents so you could edit it and put in your own logo and stuff. We were helping Meast for a while because we were doing the like collecting like food and bandages and stuff like that. But we did have this available for people to look at. But also like if people were like, we had one professor in the Spanish department be like, I don't trust these organizations. And we were just kind of like, okay, I don't donate to the Red Cross then. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Not that I trust the Red Cross, but
yeah. Great. Well, thanks, Masha, for sharing. I mean, the main purpose of why I asked Masha to present, and maybe I reached out to some other people. If you're in the meeting, let me know that we can use this kind of like experience of other groups, of other communities to start something in our own club or in our own community, or just like to add something to the agenda if we already have an agenda. So I feel like what Masha shared with us was very helpful, just like to get some ideas, like what can I do, what type of event I can do. And if we go back, could you please, Masha, reshare your schedule? I just wanted to like ask a couple of questions that might be useful, that I'm interested in how you're doing, first of all. So how frequently do you meet with each other, like with the club members?
Good question. We'll see. I'm aiming for like a regular club meeting every 2 weeks so that I don't have to like think about planning meetings ahead of time. Most of these are like this, I would say that like all of this is gonna happen in October because I don't, well, maybe like end of September, October is going to be the vast majority of it because people are going to like drop the off the face of the earth around finals. This is like more fun and more chill. So I was thinking like this could be like cool, like wrap up of the semester, like, oh, we're almost done with school, like Christmas is around the corner. Um, and that kind of stuff. But yeah, like basically it'll just be one after the other until everyone is too busy studying to participate. But I would like, come to think of it, I do want to accomplish, I think we could do this sooner. I think we could do that by the
So
end of the month.
basically
But
your meeting, you have like regular meeting every 2 weeks, but these events are regardless of your meeting times, right? As far as I understand.
yeah.
Okay.
So the idea is like these happen on like Friday nights, Thursday nights when people are a little more free. And like for someone like for something that wouldn't require us to rent out, not rent, but like to reserve a big space ahead of time necessarily, we could combine it with the regular meeting, just like, oh, next week we're making Vareniki, like, don't forget to show up. But just be like I haven't done this in a long time. I didn't do shit on campus before this. So I'm out of habit of the whole meetings and events and planning stuff. My guess is like meet on an as need basis. People are busy. Like if you don't do all the work yourself because that's a bad habit that I have. But just like say like we are meeting every 2 weeks. If you want to cancel it, just can't, like if you're like we have nothing to talk about, cancel it, screw it. Well, free up everyone's evening. But a regular meeting on top of events, I think is the best way to just keep things under control.
Okay, cool. So who does the Vareniki? Who makes the Vareniki?
Me. You think I trust anyone else? No,
Oh, so-
probably me. Me
So
and Zach.
it's like you invite people to come over to make together, or you make and invite people to eat?
We'll see.
Okay.
My apartment is not very big, so it's also like for stuff like that. It's because I did have people over at my place just for like casual Ukrainian get-togethers kind of thing. Because also it's just like I wasn't really like I didn't do plast or tsum. I didn't really have a lot of Ukrainian. Like all my best friends from school were Polish. So it was nice to have also like that connection to people, just be like, come over, like, papisya, everything. But yeah, I think it's just like it's like space, right? Because campus, at least Loyola, is pretty small. Like I don't know if we have a food sciences department where I can like use a kitchen. So most likely I'd just go home, like warm them up, I'd get Bunsen burners and I'd bring them there. So it is like very self-reliant. If a couple of people from the club aren't willing to like do a lot of prep work for stuff like food or anything like that, then it's worth it to just scratch it off the agenda. But also people love food. So it's a good way to get interest from the community.
Okay, great. And I actually have a question to everyone here. Do any of your clubs have like Ukrainian speaking club events?
What do you mean by Ukrainian speaking club event?
Like in your club, like on the base of your club, you do like Ukrainian speaking event, like when everyone comes and you either like speak Ukrainian, whomever wants to join the conversation, or you teach Ukrainian, something like that.
Unfortunately, we do not. Most of our meetings, so like here at Stanford, we have our weekly meetings typically on Thursdays. Typically when during the semester when we would meet in person, for the most part, we would speak Ukrainian just cause, unless we would have like some of our partners there, English speakers. But we haven't had like an event or like, Ukrainian speaking club or something of any kind. I do know that some of our not Ukrainian partners are learning Ukrainian, like just by using Duolingo or Rosetta Stone or something. But I don't remember us having any formal event like that.
Okay. what do you think in general? Do you feel like there is a demand for that in your communities?
I think it's something we can ask, because no one just from the top of my head, I know like 3 people that go through some classes. I would assume there are probably more than that. So I think it would make sense to ask and go from there.
Yeah, the reason why I'm asking, because I know that on my campus at UF, there is a German speaking club, which is led by the German community. There is a French speaking club led by the French community. There is even like a Russian club, which I believe that also hosted some like language related events. Maybe it's not like a regular thing, but they would do some speaking, because like there is a Russian major, etc., at the university, and they would be willing to learn. So yeah, just like another idea. So does anyone else want to share about like what other types of events outside of those that Masha shared with us your club is doing? Something fun, I don't know, picnics, anything else, presentations of speakers, invited speakers, whom you are inviting?
Anyone? I have something to say. I won't let someone else go. If anyone else want to share? So our Ukrainian Student Association in Stanford, we are still, most of us are not on campus yet. We're planning to have our like general meeting on the 25th, I believe, of September, or like 24th, when everyone is here on campus. That's when the semester starts. Some of our people now in Ukraine with like some missions, and like the last one, I think they took like 2 or 3 ambulances to the front lines. So they're like, overall, we don't have all of us here yet, but just like from the missions that we currently have and things that we're working on, I know that there are a few sort of like recruitment events that will be happening in the late September, early October. So we just want to get a few more members to our club, not necessarily Ukrainians, just maybe other people that would be interested in different initiatives that we currently have. I know since last time we met with, like, the event that we created was with the Zoom call with Zelensky. There was also an idea to have something similar and maybe utilize some of the connection that we have here on campus, like McFall, like Condoleezza Rice, and like some other, but we haven't really spoken into existence, like how it's going to look, whom we want to get involved. So no Arestovich Figin, no, that's a no. Like I no, just because no. So I do know that we have a few initiatives just like ongoing, like our telehealth initiative. That's just like an NGO that we organize, and it's ongoing mission that will probably last for I don't know for how long. And I know that we're planning some other events in terms of like cultural awareness, and maybe to do something like we did the vigil would be a smart thing where all of us can do it. I was thinking, and Masha pointed out the 14th of October is a good date, but from today it's almost like a month. I'm not sure if we'll do it in the month, but it would be a good date. So something that we need to take back to our club. Like I know our next meeting is on Thursday in USS, so I'll ask there. But we really need to think like how we want to sell it, because on one hand it's defenders of Ukraine. I don't know if the relevancy of that to American public, just in general. I would definitely go like with celebrating it. It's a big holiday, and we can even say like, those of you who like donating to support Ukraine, you also defending like democracy and all of these values and blah 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 blah. You kind of can twist it into it. But I think just for sake of SUSTA, we should definitely plan at least like one event per quarter, per semester, that we do all collectively together. In terms of like cookouts or some dance classes, we've been talking about some form of cookout, and Varenik and Borsch were like on the agenda, but we never actually managed to have those executed. We did an event when we invited representatives of all of the NGOs, of like Ukrainian NGOs in the area, like in Bay Area. And we also requested some vendors, some Ukrainian vendors to bring food. So it was like a collaborative space where, you know, people had a chance to meet each other, to connect, to kind of collaborate on some of the efforts that they had, and was very productive in our opinion. So therefore we didn't do like the cooking part. But now if we're gonna like tune it down a little bit, like on the campus level, I think it's something that definitely can be done, just, you know, broader for campus community, and not just like for all of like in the Bay Area, but just like for Stanford students. So I think that would be maybe a good idea to do something like that. I also wanted to ask the broader group, in terms of our overall mission, like we definitely can do like small events, can do some fundraising, but what do you guys see in from the where we stand right now? What do you think should be our like overarching mission for SUSTA or USUA? Where should we focus most of our efforts? And is that, I don't know, information? It's like spreading information, getting people involved, getting Ukraine and like trending on Twitter, or like getting us on social media, on news. Like, where do you think we would have the most impact? Could be something as small as like creating like a speaking club on the campus if you have only like 3-4 members, but if you have like 20-30, like where should we, there should be like some form of like general direction in which we're moving. So what are your thoughts, everyone?
Personally, sorry, I haven't been contributing a lot. I just got out of the car. I've been driving back from a Yuki festival, but so there is a SUSTA constitution somewhere. That doc should be somewhere in the Telegram channel, I think. But I think in that the goal is like just to like be a space for Ukrainian student organizations. And I think that makes sense to continue. Like all of us are doing individual things like to support Ukraine. And I think this can be a space to like discuss those things and stuff. But I think personally, feel free to disagree, that we should kind of hold off on like making SUSTA do its own stuff like as a group, because we're all doing so many things separately that like if we try to do things through SUSTA too, I feel like people are going to get burnt out and it might not be necessary.
No, I totally agree with you. And my understanding in when I was like joining SUSTA was that SUSTA is just a space where we can collaborate. It's not that it's an additional organization. It's just a like co-working space where we can like meet, share like what other organizations are doing, and if there's some experience that, let's say, Loyola has that we want to, you know, learn from them, here's where we would share those ideas of that experience, and that's from where we can take it. And if there's like overarching event that we want to all do together, like the vigil that happened a couple of months ago, so here's where we would coordinate it. So that's, correct me if I'm wrong, but my vision of SUSTA is that it's a collaborative space.
Yeah, so let me chime in. I think that like right now we can, according to our agenda, like we can move on to discussing these issues. So anyhow, like from my standpoint as a VP of a previous election, from what we've discussed and from what we've discussed with Terenia, who is, by the way, our VP of outreach, that's exactly like our understanding is synchronized here. So we are here to share our experience and to learn from each other so we don't reinvent the things. That's like if we take away all events that are happening right now on a like longer perspective in a long-term run, this is like the priority. It is a networking community where we can connect, we can collaborate, we can borrow each other's ideas. We built our personal network, but we participate here also with like a little bit more than just having fun as a personalities, as an individuals, because we want to take what we learn here and bring it to our communities and kind of like make that like, you know, effect of spreading some powerful messages or spreading the action around, especially in the situations like this. because I believe that we still need to like find a lot more people, a lot more connections on other campuses to connect, just to know that they are there, to realize that we are not alone in like doing something on our personal campus, like our own campus, right? That it is actually the great effort that is happening, not to feel like that loneliness, you know, especially in our like effort like of raising money and feeling like, you know, less of ourselves, that we are not able to do something. No, we are not able, we are able to do a lot if we do it united. If like, imagine how many universities there are. I believe that at least like there would be several advocates of Ukrainian culture in each of the campuses. That could be a tremendous success if we think and unite and we learn from each other and teach each other what to do. So that's like a broader agenda. Speaking of the what we are going to do in our meetings. So actually, let me go forward and feel free to also disagree again. So am I sharing the paper again, or am I sharing the right thing? The presentation?
The right thing. Yes. The right
Okay,
thing.
great. So this is our fall agenda, and it is free to edit by anyone. But I think I see that the first and the foremost point on our schedule for like fall is to reinstate our regular meetings. They could be weekly or bi-weekly. I'm not sure if weekly meetings with a lot going on our own campuses and like leading the campus activity would be meaningful. If it is meaningful, we will definitely do the weekly meetings, or at least bi-weekly meetings. We can move to monthly meetings, but I'm not sure if with monthly meetings we will be able to stay on hold with each other. So let's actually like take a vote right now. Can you like type in chat, what do you think about weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, or any other regularity that we should do? Okay, I can see your responses here. Seems like we have a pretty much unanimous decision here. Okay, Terene is suggesting the monthly. So far, everyone else has been more leaning towards the bi-weekly meeting.
I
Terene,
think
what do you
bi-weekly
mean?
is fine. I just I know like I got very busy during school, and our like how many people would show up to SUSTA meetings definitely dropped off at a certain point. So if anything, like bi-weekly would be fine, but then maybe have specific meetings where it's like, let's have everyone show up to this one, or like this is just like if you're interested in this topic or something. Because I think it might be a lot for people to, I don't know. If you guys all said bi-weekly, then maybe bi-weekly is fine. So I don't know. That's just what I was thinking. That if you want more people to show up, the more spaced out would be easier.
I just think a month, like if you skip one meeting, then it's 2 months to go without talking to everyone and being in the loop. Then
Yeah.
I also was thinking if we, for example, doing bi-weekly, and we need to engage a broader population. One thing that we do at USS, we share the agenda with the link to the meeting, so that way people like know what we're going to be talking about, and you know, if they have something to contribute to agenda, it's open document that everyone can add it, and that way they also know like, hey, there's something that would be discussed that I want to be part of, so I would like to join. And also if we're doing something an event, so every other week is normal, and then if we need to add an additional one for the smaller group, we can do like weekly one, but it's not necessary. But I agree that monthly, it does make sense, but it just seems to be, it's a bit too far spread. And again, if like one of them would fall into like Halloween week, or I don't know, like Thanksgiving, and then would be Christmas, and like you're pretty much gone for like 2 months.
Okay, I actually agree that maybe a little bit more frequently, just to know our faces, you know, to learn our faces, to learn each other's names. The biweekly would be more facilitating for that. And again, like there is no expectation that everyone would show up. Currently, we have 93 people in our SUSTA chat, but how many regularly are showing up or like participating, that percentage is much lower. So at least giving more opportunities for people to like work around their schedule, maybe like not every week, but they will know that they will at least once per month, they will see each other in this kind of like virtual space. I think that would make sense. And from, again, this is not, we're not creating here like a law that should be kind of like forever, once and forever. We can change as the time goes. We'll see what works, what doesn't work. Maybe we'll vote for like, let's do it a weekly meeting, right? So anyhow, then I'd say like by majority and by listening to these arguments, then let's start with the biweekly. So today is 9/11. The next meeting will be in 2 weeks' time. That would make it the 25th, September 25th. And who disagrees? Say no. Okay, so passed. And the time will be the same. The time of the meeting will be preserved. That's why we filled all that when to meet calendar thing. It will be Sundays, every Sunday at 8 p.m. EST, or shift your time like at whichever time zone you are. And if we move to the winter time, kind of like if there will be a time change, we will kind of like still stay at the same timing. We don't shift the number. Yeah, if it makes sense. Does it make sense? Okay, great.
Yes, yes.
So that is set for now. So we will just try to follow this plan and try to arrive to the end of semester with this plan, hopefully. Speaking of, let me check how much time. Cool. We have a little bit more time. Other important points here were raised. So regarding the agenda, and everyone is interested in fundraising event. In the past meeting, we also discussed the fundraising event. So actually the topic of our next meeting, which would be September 25th, we will be talking about the fundraising event. So there are two things to discuss that I propose to discuss in that, to talk specifically about how we fundraise in our communities, like what do we do, what messages we send to people, what platforms we use. Do we use some platforms that charge commission, but this is more trustworthy for our community, or we use our personal Venmo or our personal account? I just want to let us know what are all the options, and like what is your experience with that as a representative organization. So we're talking here about like how we're raising funds as organizations, not as a private person, if that makes sense. Yeah. And the second point that I propose to discuss in that meeting on September 25th is our common fundraising event. To do it in sync in one day, how we did the vigil, we already have that experience. We just need to think of it and repeat it, strengthen it, recognize like what was done good in the vigil, use those techniques, and fundraise for our common purpose. And all the details we can also discuss in the next event. And in the last meeting, there was a community member, Matej. He will be hopefully joining us next meeting as well. And he was sharing that he already kind of like in his community was also thinking about that. So anyhow, this is a common idea as far as I believe, and we should kind of like discuss about that. discuss the date, what we do as a broader organization, something maybe like some element similar to all of us, and yeah, go planning from there. But again, like if you come to the meeting with already like your ideas, you will be welcome to share the ready like ideas so that we fit it in the timeline, whether it's a Defenders Day, whether this is like a Christmas time, or any other date in the calendar. Yep. Okay, any comments or questions on that, on the
I have a, I don't know if it's a question or a comment, but will we be doing elections sometime soon for the fall e-board? Or if so, when?
That's the next point of our conversation.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, I mean, Terenia, what is your vision of that? How should we proceed?
Honestly, I don't know. I mean, ideally we would want more people, but I guess you could send out like a poll or a Google form or something, like asking who would be interested. Because like I personally like can't, I like don't have the, well, first of all, I'm not a student anymore, so I don't think I should be on e-board. But I'm sure there's people who like do have the time and the interest to be doing that. So like maybe sending out a poll to see who would be interested, and then like the week after that, or the whatever, the meeting after that, like hold an election, or at least like discuss what positions we want and stuff like that.
I just have a thought on it. So the next meeting we're gonna have on the 25th, the bi-weekly, the following one would be on the 9th of October. Pretty much by October, everyone already going to be on their campuses. I know the Stanford is like one of the latest one. They have like 25th to 26th of September when the semester, like the quarter starts. So we can, on the next week, the next time agenda on the 25th, when is our fundraising event, we can dedicate maybe like 10 minutes just to talk on like what positions are there available, which one, like what would be the mechanism of it. And then we'll have, let's say, a week, like from 25th to the 2nd, for someone to submit, if anyone willing to submit their candidacy for, and then have on the 9th, try to get as many people as we can, or like maybe figure out the way how we're going to vote and just do that on the 9th. We don't need that intermediate meeting, like it's still going to be bi-weekly, but that week, like 1 week after the 25th, we will need to have like the candidacy of people to either start submitting or like, I mean, there should be some communication, you can just go through Telegram.
Okay, I think that's very reasonable idea. So basically, we already have an agenda for 2 meetings. The next meeting will be a fundraising meeting, and the meeting after that will be elections. And well, depending on how many candidates there are, we will probably devote a significant amount of in the meeting for, like voting procedures, and maybe the rest of that meeting we could further discuss our fundraising effort, which is a communal effort.
Sounds great.
Sounds good. Okay, so we already have planned events for the next month. My congratulations. Very good. And so I believe we have not much time left. The last thing for that I propose to discuss for today, our communication. It's been a nice journey posting and flooding the chat with the messages. I'm speaking about my experience, but at the same time, what Dan was saying, that maybe we should kind of like separate the announcement channel from the like purely interaction communication channel.
I will speak to the reason why I was thinking about it. So I don't know how we ended up on Telegram. I think it's a majority choice or convenience or something. In our organizations, we use the Discord. Just our choice. It doesn't have to be this way. Like it was between Discord and Slack, so we just ended up with Discord, and we have different channels. So it's kind of keeps all the people together. But there is on each of the organization that I'm on, there is one that says memes only, and we just post memes in there on news or something, something that is not relevant to overall functionality of the organization. And it does seem like time to time there's some hilarious things that are happening or some tragic things that are happening that we want to share, and there's just like no place for it in our overall chat. So what I would suggest, two things. First, if someone texted to me that prior, I don't remember who was it, but I already asked who is the admin of our Telegram chat, and if we can go and just check in with 95 members that we have on it, like, hey, so nice to have you on our chat. Are you still in school? Are you still planning to be active? Or just to, instead of having sheer numbers of people, I would rather have a number of people that are active, that if you send something into the chat, people will respond or reply. And then also create like a separate chat just like for memes, if we stick into Telegram, which seems to be the option here. So first,
I can
check in an
respond to
activity.
that. Oh. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, so my brother's Ahad is admin on the Telegram account. Like he made the channel, whatever. So I can speak to that. But like, there's a lot of people in there, himself included at this point, that like just don't have the time or energy to like be attending these meetings. And like weekly was too much. I think bi-weekly would be too much. Like they're just like not willing to put in, like they don't have the capacity to put in the time and effort to come to these things. So like there's people that like just like the messages, and there's so many people in that chat that like probably don't really want much to do with SUSTA at this point, just were kind of in it because like they're in a Yuki club and they were at it at the very start. About the Discord thing, I think at one meeting earlier on, there was discussion of maybe moving this to Discord, but it was eventually just like we decided against it because for various reasons, I don't remember honestly. But if you think, or if enough people think that that would be worthy, then maybe that's something worth revisiting. But just wanted to mention that that was something that was considered at one point and was turned down.
Let's do a quick vote right now. So we have a good representation of the active part of community. How many of us do have a Discord and regularly use it? Like, let's separate it. How many of us regularly use the Discord? I see.
Oh, you guys have a Discord, or?
I actively use it. That's the first question.
Oh, use the app of Discord. Okay.
1, 2, 3. Terenia, I cannot hear you. See if maybe you could emoji.
I don't have Discord. I don't use it.
Okay. So 3. How many of us have the app installed on the phone? Okay. So it seems like the majority have the Discord, but they don't use it Discord. So in that case, I think that transition to Discord might not be as painful because the first step is already done. We may try create the Discord without shutting down the Telegram channel. For the transition period, we will be duplicating and create the Discord community for the purposes such as Bogdan says, that it should not only be about like the serious stuff about like, okay, what we're doing next, about fundraising, but also like sharing memes, sharing something, some news or some other relative information.
I just wanted to chime in on that. Okay, so yeah, I think it's good that we transition. Having multiple channels is like, I think, healthy, especially in like big groups. So it doesn't get like clouded. So we should definitely switch to, I don't have a preference, Discord or Slack. I like Slack, but if Discord's the majority, that's great. And then Teranya mentioned how like there's a lot of people that like just simply don't have the time to be a part of this. And and that's okay. That's fine. But I feel like then maybe those are not the people that should be on admin, and like the people that don't have the time should not be like the people on e-board then, which is, completely, I think that's valid and okay, because it should be like the people that are showing up and putting in the time.
Oh yeah, for sure agreed about that. I'm just saying, like, I don't think those people like don't even have the capacity to be like members and like showing up to meetings is also just what I wanted to mention.
So we
Like
can
a lot of
find
people
like-
showed up at the beginning, and I think like that energy is fading. A lot of people aren't gonna continue.
If we can find like a way to like filter that, see like who like the regulars are who will show up, that'll be good, because I don't think bi-weekly is too much. I think that's literally just an hour every 2 weeks. That's doable. People that want to be active will be active. So yeah.
I just gonna definitely agree with Daddy and with Tanya. I have like two more minutes because I need to go to another meeting. Just an idea thrown out there. So since next time we're talking about the fundraising, the following one is election. So as we elect the new board, there should be a switch transition to Discord. So like with the new board, like, and then that way we will, whoever is active on Telegram, we can just tell them, like, hey, we switch into Discord, here's the invite. Like whoever would be on the Telegram checking the messages, even if they're not showing up to the meeting, they can say like, oh, here's the invite, I can click and join the Discord, and then we can continue the new board with the new platform, and then start advertising to the new members of SUSTA, or however we want to call it. Just a thought.
I mean, for whoever wants to apply for the board, another strategy would be not to wait and create a Discord channel. And if you really want to manage the Discord channel and be on the board, because I think that person that manages the media and communication channels should be on the board, you may use it as an argument that I am going to create a channel and I'm going to be managing. That's like, you know, in the election, use it as your point. So just okay, so if you have to go, like we just agreed that it's a meeting, so by then, for everyone who can stay, please let's stay. I just didn't want to like my words to be misinterpreted. So what I mean, let's not create like 93 Discord channels and try to compete with like inviting people over. But if you are willing to create a Discord channel and like manage it, not solely, someone else will be helping, because the practice shows that one person responsible for one account is not a good idea. Let's just write a message to me, for example, in the Telegram where we are now. And if there will be several people, I will create a separate chat for all of us to discuss the Discord channel creation thing. Does it sound good?
Yeah, I just think that I think it's better if just like the new e-board like takes care of that, and then they decide like what kind of channels are then inputted, and like they're the ones that organize everything. I don't think that we it's necessary for us to do that right now. But that might just be like, that's just my opinion. That doesn't mean we don't have to do that, but I do have to go. I just wanted to say that. So
okay, yeah, great. Okay then, so I sent the message. If you are willing to take over any part of this activity, please message me in Telegram, and I will redirect you to people who are also interested in doing the same thing as you do, to make it as a team. So that's, I think, my main message here. And well, thank you very much for for joining today, for sharing, for discussing this. I think these were the very important things that we have already cleared for the next months to go. And also I'll make this recording available in some form. I'll share it in the Telegram chat for everyone to have access, and also the meeting minutes and the further agenda. I will also share it as it becomes available. So, and by that I mean because the video process.
I have to head out, but Yaku, Maria.
Yeah, thank you, Terenia.
Bye.
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 And really quickly, I'm sorry I joined late, but I'm Menezvati Ivan. I go to Boston College. I'm a sophomore. This is my first meeting with SUSTA. Actually, I wasn't able to join the last one, so I mean, I was able just to listen in and see what's going on. A lot of great stuff, and Masha's presentation was great, and I like the idea about the